Out of the bayou comes this recipe. Take the rhythms of Africa, the language of France, and the steamy atmosphere of Louisiana, mix at a rapid pace with fiddles and squeeze boxes and guitars and other assorted instruments. This recipe serves as many people as happen to be lined up for a taste of what's being dished out, from dozens to hundreds to thousands. And what is this a recipe for? A good time. That's what, Zydeco style. And here is proof of the pudding now from Terrence Smith.
Out here, where the American prairie meets the southwest Louisiana swamps, a Saturday night ritual is taking place, the Zydeco dance. Outside of Opelousas, Louisiana, you can always tell when Beau Jocque is playing. The line of cars and pickups stretches down the highway. Just like the weather and the local pepper sauce, Beau Jocque is hot.
The Zydeco music has only been from this area here. There's a lot of people that's getting involved with it, that's been coming to my dances that had never even considered listening to it before. Young people.
Zydeco music is experiencing a resurgence among the people who created it, the French-speaking, African-American Creole population of Louisiana. It is dance music that is traditional to these parts, and a tradition that is very much alive.
I'll take a song that the audience are all familiar with, and I'll change it. I'll do something and try it on the most critical area in Zydeco music as far as the people knowing what to expect, I guess would be this area right here.
The roots of Zydeco lie deep within the complex ethnic mix of Louisiana, where French, Spanish, English, Indian, and African influences all are still felt.
Basically, Zydeco is Cajun music jazz.
Barry Onsolet is a professor of French and folklore at the University of Southwestern Louisiana.
They were taking Cajun music, taking known old-time French Acadian folk songs, drawing just the idea of them, and then fracturing the melody and retooling it and turning it over, and doing basically exactly the same thing that jazz does. One of the great examples of that is Mama's Little Baby Loves Shortening Bread, which he turned into What You Gonna Give Me for My Piece of Cornbread.
With performers like Beau Jocque, Zydeco is reaching far beyond its bayou roots. Here, he was one of the performers at a festival in New York's Central Park.
Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Yeah, what you gonna give me, what you gonna give me now? What you give me, what you give me right now? What you gonna give me, what you gonna give me now?
When you feel you're introducing Zydeco to people, I mean, do you ever try to explain it? Or just let the music explain it?
Well, what I do is try to get a feel on the crowd about what makes them react. There's a lot of people just, like they're listening and, checking it out, but I notice...
What is this?
Yeah, I notice a foot pattern, and
yeah.
they'll look around and eventually they'll get up and start moving around, so it's...
Even blasé New York.
Right, right. The first thing that I learned on accordion, the occasion accordion, was Cajun music from my dad. I grew up speaking Cajun French. Yeah, that's what all of my brothers and sisters speak.
Born Andres Esprit, Beau Jocque adopted a nickname originally given to him by his older brothers.
Because at first it was sort of like something you'd call me, you know, if you wanted some trouble, you know, my brothers, you know, and stuff like that. But I was the youngest boy, so I couldn't do much damage. So, but now, you know, I'll tell them thanks for the name, you know.
Beau Jocque grew up on a farm near here and worked as a welder for years before starting his music career.
That sealed it up.
He took up the accordion 7 years ago when an accident on the job left him partially paralyzed.
I picked up the accordion and started fooling around with it, and I was fortunate enough to take it to where I am now, and it was sort of like a back door for me. You know, it helped me through a lot of bad depressions on where I realized I couldn't do what I used to do and earn the living I used to live, but this has taken it in a totally different direction. So I'm very grateful for that.
What is that?
You know, at one time we almost lost the Creole culture because it was bad, and people would look down on you if you would talk Creole.
Wilbert Guillory founded this Zydeco festival to keep the traditions of black Creole culture alive.
We started the festival to try to see whether or not we could bring the culture back and not lose it completely. And the first year, you know, it was kind of discouraged.
What is that?
At the 12th Zydeco Festival recently, the audience clearly savored its Creole tradition.
Right here, jambalaya, red beans and rice. But I know it's the best in the world. Talk about Rudy.
We accomplished what we tried to accomplish. It's just unbelievable, you know, today the growth that Zydeco music have.
But Zydeco has been changing, and some fear that its growing popularity might transform the music into something unrecognizable.
Is there a risk of losing what is essentially Zydeco?
There is a risk, and I've been told that the boundary line's been exceeded more than one time. Is the accordion. I leave enough of traditional Cajun and Zydeco music into the music to where it can still be recognized as Zydeco music.
And on a Saturday night in Opelousas, there's no question that Zydeco is alive and well.